Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today, we're discussing a model from my own personal inner circle of Grail watches. This is the Blancpain 50 Fathoms 5015 in white gold, a 2009 limited edition of 50 pieces with sensational blue dial, blue sapphire topped bezel, and white gold case with display caseback. This is a timepiece that fulfills all of your dreams of what a luxury diver should be. I've often called it the Cadillac of divers, and I'm sticking with that. I would even say this is the Cadillac CTS-V Coupe 6-speed of divers, the best of the best. This variant is the richest of them all. Now you can see on my 16cm circumference wrist, the 2009 50-piece limited edition wears like any other 5015, 45mm in diameter, but it's an easy 45 to wear. It's not a big watch lug-to-lug at 50.5mm across the wrist. I can actually endorse this monster for a wrist as small as 14.5cm circumference. It will wear securely on a wrist that small. It's not a thin watch, however. 15.5mm thick, it's got a little bit of a stack height to it, but there is a little bit of a roll and a slope to the bezel, so you should have no trouble fitting it underneath a jacket cuff. Shirt sleeves, probably not, but jackets, good to go. The strap width was broad from the onset of this model back in 2007 when the core steel 50 Fathoms 5015 bout, and they understood that the hallmark of modern watch design isn't case size, it's lug spacing, and so it was broad from the beginning at 23mm. Even better, Blancpain did the right thing right off the bat, created a high-grade retention system for the strap that involves little hex screws. So there are no spring bars here, only a high-quality screw-based retention system for absolute security. That's how every luxury watch company should do it. Sailcloth, a signature of this model range, almost indestructible, nicely bolstered, dark navy blue with a slight contrasting stitch, more of a cobalt than a navy blue to the stitch, rubber on the underside to separate the wrist from the somewhat abrasive texture of the textile, and then outboard we have a matching Blancpain index style white gold pin buckle, a handsome piece. Note, double finished, both satin and polish inside and out. The case itself, all of high polish and glorious. You could see the image of the brand marquee on the flanks, and one of the most undersold qualities of this watch is how elegant the caseband really is. My favorite feature isn't necessarily the giant super graphic. It's the break between the lug profile and the mid-case. You can see there's a sharp polished cleft or crease between them, and that's impressive because Blancpain could have just integrated the lugs into the caseband and be done with it. Instead, they went for an entirely hand-finished case with a sharp break between its compound curved flank and its lug. Nicely done. Again, not taking the easy way out. There's a little bit of a teardrop undertuck or invert ducktail to the lug profile that adds some nuance of line. Shear guards for an oversized crown that is a dream to use. It's well protected. The bezel itself has a relatively deep knurling, and you can see it's polished like the rest of the watch. Let's get a little bit closer and improve our focus here. You can see that the bezel features a sharp knurling that's easy to grip, and you can hear just how positive the detent is on this white gold model. It's a nice 120 click bezel that is super precise. I would even say that this model, for some reason, feels even sharper and more positive than a standard 5015. One thing that it has in common with the standard 5015, however, is that there is a cambered or curved sapphire atop the bezel. Now, some watches do feature sapphires atop their bezel. An example would be the S500 from Bremont. Old IWC Aqua timers from the 2000s also had this feature, but you know what? Cambered sapphire is much more expensive than flat, and Blancpain did not pinch pennies. So you have a fully loomed disc underneath the sapphire. It's fully loomed, so this watch has a sensational loom shot, and everything, not just the index, lights up because it's protected from marring by the sapphire. When we get close to the dial, you can see that it has a handsome metallic sunburst texture at center, and then there's a downward step to the circular brushed hour track, and the hour track features white gold quarter Arabics as well as white gold wedge style indices. There's a small date window, and a lot of folks prefer this take on the date window because it doesn't actually replace an index. So from an arm's length, especially with a monotone blue metallic date disc, you actually don't see the date until you want it. The crown itself I mentioned earlier it's oversized with deep and sharp knurling. It's a pleasure to use. No trouble with drawing it, even if your hands might be wet, sweaty, or gloved. The knurling is super deep, and what I really like is that you can't budge this crown when it's withdrawn. It doesn't wobble on its stem. A lot of burly crowns on oversized butch sports watches feel like they're going to fall off when you screw them out. Not here. Now the movement. It deserves its own special spotlight solo. Let me get this one in focus. Okay, now we're looking at Blancpain manufacture caliber 1315. Derived from the 13RO high horology movement from the dress watch series, this one features 3 mainspring barrels, a 5-day 120-hour power reserve. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. There is a quick set for the date, as well as a hacking seconds function, and it's free sprung for shock resistance. It's adjusted in 5 positions. It's a 35 joule super deluxe high horology movement with high horology finish to match. You can see satin graining splaying out across the bridges. You can see the gleam and glint of the anglage on the edge of every bridge, as well as in all of the jewel and screw countersinks. All of the screw heads are black polished with chamfered slots, and there is an engine turning across the base plate. It is very impressive. You'll even note that the rotor itself has been hand finished. The standard 5015 does not have a display caseback, so this is a substantial upgrade over the standard watch. And it comes with no sacrifice, as you still get 300-meter water resistance all up. A dream watch, a grail watch, the Cadillac of divers. I'm sticking by that. Even in the era of German luxury leaders and Lexus, I still have a romantic notion about Cadillacs from the 1950s. And hell, 1953 was the birth year of the 50 Fathoms. Cadillac and Blancpain, below the radar, but still going strong. Still my favorites. See this one and make it yours on the watch box. Blancpain 50 Fathoms. I promised you a fully loomed bezel. This watch does not disappoint. This is loomed to the point that you can actually see it during the day.